Hello, Colin Bunyan here. Welcome to the fourth video recipe of this series. This is the cinnamon rolls. Alex Rama, I know you're after this one. This is going to be a bad one. It'll take a little time. You don't have to do a huge amount of work though. This is one of those recipes that once you've done it a couple of times, you can tweak to your heart's content. I've done a few variants on this, but this is a basic cinnamon rolls technique. Let's get started. Now it looks like an assortment of rubble here, but 30 grams of fresh yeast. Now, do yourself a favour and get fresh yeast. The difference between fresh yeast and dried is about the same difference as ice cream to horse manure. I've also put in there 10 grams of caster sugar just to give the yeast something to feed off. I'm also going to put in about 150 ml of water. Now this has to be about 30 to 35 degrees centigrade. Okay, 150 ml, so it's not all of it. The yeast will mix and you end up with this grey, rather unappetising looking water. Don't sweat it, okay? I can smell it. It smells like a combination of a brewery and a baker's, so that tells me the yeast is active and ready to go with the rest of the ingredients. Okay, 50 grams of clarified butter. Note that the white part of the butter has stuck to the pan, so you're left with what I believe in the Asian community is known as ghee, which is clarified butter for those in the know. So it's basically where all the proteins and caseins have been removed, so you end up with a flavoured oil essentially. Beautiful stuff. That goes in there like so. 250 ml of milk. Semi-skimmed will work, whole is preferred, but because I don't make this often, it's not worth me getting whole milk. Pinch of salt, an egg, and whisk that up until it's nice and smooth. Bring it on the scales. I'm going to want 20 ounces or 550 grams of plain flour. Now you can use bread flour if you want. I'm not gonna. Plain flour will work best for this. 550 grams is the target. That is bang on. Couldn't do that again. I could try. Get your best and experienced wooden spoon and just gently fold in the mixture. First you're going to go, oh god, it's too wet. Then you're going to go, oh my god, it's too dry, what's happening here? And then, in theory, it should all come together as one. You might need to add a bit more flour, you might need to add a bit more water. In fact, I can tell you now straight away, that's almost like a sponge cake, and that's 20 ounces. So, I'm going to add flour, and it's actually good that I do it like this because when you're making any form of bread dough, you don't want to be going strictly by a recipe. You want to go by feel. See, that's now starting to pull away from the bowl, but it's still a bit too wet. There, I think that's just about. Got it now. The stage which upsets my wife a little bit because it's quite messy. I'm going to get so much trouble for that one. Right, scrape the dough. Now it's still quite tacky onto a well floured surface. Get everything out. I mean, right, I'm going to have to get a spatula for the rest. More flour on the top. Right, flour on the top. And we're going to start kneading in the flour. Okay? Now first you think, okay, it's a bit too dry, but you don't necessarily have to knead all the flour in. Okay, we have to knead enough to make sure that it's now a dough rather than a paste. So twist it, twist it, twist it, fold it, incorporate, and give it a gentle kneading. Get yourself one of these bench scrapers. They're not expensive, 3, 4, 5 quid max, but they are going to be an absolute saver for this. Alright, knead the dough for about 5-6 minutes by hand until it doesn't stick to the table. Clean bowl. Use a bench scraper to pick it up in there. Cover with a dry tea towel, and we need to leave it for an hour to an hour and a half. That's another advantage with fresh yeast over dry. Fresh yeast will rise quicker. This needs to go into a place that's draft free and relatively warm. This is England in tail end of October, so it's nowhere's going to be warm. So I'm going to put this into my turned off oven so it'll rise in about 90 minutes. It's rising well. That was at a quarter of the bowl. That's now full. First of all, flour the surface. Deflate the dough. Nothing feels better than that. It's just one of the best feelings around. And then carefully, just want to get as much of this dough as we can. This is why I love using fresh yeast. This is absolutely brilliant. Okay, and now I'm not even using a rolling pin, I'm just using my hands, going to lightly flour so it doesn't stick, and I'm just rolling it out. Have this baking dish, plenty of room, not even close to running out of room. I've got about 100 grams of butter here to melt. Whilst that is melting, 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, not measured that much, 50 grams of caster sugar, and I'll add in about 100 grams of muscovado, and just going to add a few drops of vanilla. And then grab a fork, just mash it all together. Right, I apologise for the sugar. 100 grams of melted butter, and I'm going to spread it all over the dough. And I've just poured the rest into the baking tray. I'm going to spread it all around so that the dough doesn't stick. But what we do is we take this cinnamon sugar mixture and we just sprinkle it on. Now for the only really tricky part of the operation, we have to carefully roll that up. And for this I like a palette knife to assist. Be careful not to tear the dough. I think I'm going to need just a bit more flour. It is just a little bit more adhesive than you want. I'm now left with that as a log. Now the only trouble with this is because the dough is so soft that if you try and cut it normally, you won't get anywhere with it because you'll end up squashing and compressing the rolls. Butcher's string. Okay. Right. This is butcher's string. Coat it in flour so that it doesn't stick. Right, and then go approximately halfway. Right, mark and cross, and these I'll go like that. Clean off, coat in flour, half again, and you do the same until you have 16 rolls. Once you have the rolls cut, carefully, because they will stick, place them into the pan, okay, like so, cut side up. They then need to be covered with a cloth for 30 minutes to rise once again. Now these are a bit bigger than the normal ones I normally do. I don't end up needing a second tray normally, but as is the case, first time I film the recipe I end up needing a second tray. Not the end of the world, these need to be covered for about 30 minutes and then baked at gas mark 5. The rolls have increased in size by about 30%. Don't worry about those, they could be the cuts because they don't look as good, but they still taste good. All I've done is I've melted about 30 grams of butter, and I'm just going to paint the rolls with the butter so they get a nice golden tone in the oven, which is on at gas mark 5, and these need to be on for about 30 minutes. There we are. That is what you call a gorgeous twin life set of cinnamon rolls. The bad news is that needs to cool down for at least an hour until it gets to room temperature, then ideally served with a cup of coffee. There we are, there's the cinnamon rolls. They've been cooling for about 20 minutes, so they're just above room temperature. I'm going to break off the smallest piece. Look at how light that is. That just feels like there's nothing there. No greasiness, nothing, just light and tears away. Oh man. Even though it's still a bit too warm, the bread's nice and light, nice and sweet. Cinnamon content, absolutely beautiful. This is ideal for coffee. I'll catch you next time.